Okay, just got done doing one video, and I'm not gonna lie, that one kind of has me feeling really shitty. I thought I would do this to recommend something a little bit different. I don't normally recommend mangas, or I don't think I have. I remember recommending Vinland Saga at one point. This is if you're on Odyssey and you can't find this or BitChute, that's because I think I might have done this before I started uploading to Odyssey. So hopefully that explains some shit. But there's this manga, which by the time you already know what it is. It's called The Gray Man. It was or is a very fantastically done manga. It's kind of Halloweeny. I remember there was this one YouTuber, I think his name was Masked Man. He was talking about it, and yeah, it is kind of Halloweeny when you look at the costumes some of these characters wear. Like look at the Millennium Earl. Him and the Noah clan's attire is very strange. It's very Halloweenish, and mostly I think the appeal of this story is the protagonist. That's one of the things I wish shows could do better. Is like make the protagonist the most interesting character in the story. Like they don't always do this with TV shows. Mangas and bande dessinées, I think, do a better job of this. And comics in America, yeah, hit or miss. But yeah, fantastic art. If you want the pitch of it, it's basically this. It's an alternate version of 19th century America. There's this thing called the Millennium Earl waging war on humanity with weapons he calls akuma, which are demons. They're basically dead souls that have taken over the body of someone else that made them into akuma. Like the thing is, when a person dies, the Millennium Earl goes to someone grieving them, their loved ones, like their kid, their sibling, their spouse, and they bring forth this proposition. Oh, I can bring your loved one back and put them in this thing called an akuma, but you have to call out their name. And they do it, and then the person they've brought back to life is writhing in agony. They're angry about what's happened. And they're forced to kill their loved one and take over their body. And they can transform into other monsters and level up and be a bitch to put up with. And there's a rival organization that combats them called the Black Order. They have what's known as exorcists, not the power of Christ compels you kind, the armed with guns and melee weapons and other shit kind of exorcists. They fight these Akuma and the Earl, but it turns out neither side of the war is actually that clean-handed. This is something that comes up later. But anyway, that's more or less the story. And in this war, you have a protagonist named Alan Walker, who he actually made his adoptive father into an Akuma by accident. And Mana, his adoptive father Mana, did try to kill him, but this was when Alan's ability to attack his anti-Akuma weapon, like there are types of weapons in the story. Like there's equipment types, there's parasitic types, which are like parts of your body that can be used as a weapon. Well, he was a parasitic type, and it caused his arm, the innocence in his arm to activate, which that's the source of his power. It's called innocence. Anyway, it activates. He more or less is forced to kill. His hand then begins moving on its own and kills Mana's Akuma body, or pseudo Akuma body. Like it's not a full Akuma yet. It's still in its like skeletal form. And Mana doesn't die cursing out. He actually just dies saying how he loves him and goodbye, basically. Just as the hand is about to kill him. And then Alan is found by his master, Cross, who is an asshole. He is an asshole, a bastard, a wicked bastard. Like, the things he put Alan through, man, are... It's kind of funny, but kind of sad. But I'm not going to spoil that. And he more or less becomes his apprentice and is later inducted into the Black Order, becomes an exorcist. That's what the start of the story is. You're seeing him become an exorcist, essentially. Like, you see him shortly before he joins. And, yeah, that's more or less as much as I want to reveal about it. The protagonist is probably the highlight of the story for me, which is good because I think that's how it should be done. You should make the protagonist as interesting or appealing as possible, or at the very least, you should put a lot of effort into it and not make it. And plus, I like the fact that Alan's an idealist. Like, he's one of those few protagonists who are idealists that I like. I usually hate those kind. Alan, I'm like, I want this guy to be happy. I want him to survive. I want him to get by through the war and just live a normal life. I want that. Like, I like those kind of characters. And that's more or less why I recommend this manga, is just on the grounds of it's that. The only problem is now it's hard for the artist who's also writing it to get it done because she has, I think, carpal tunnel. Because she's been working on this since I was in middle school. So 2005 or 6 maybe. Like, I think it was 2006 or 7 when I first was introduced to it. And that's about as much as I can really tell without giving away too much. There are other characters in the story, but they are more or less like, except for this one guy, I hate him. He's all sanctimonious. And he basically is like a guy who uses his fists as weapons, I think. But anyway, I think that's where I'll end it. Have a nice day, and pray for sanity. Give it a shot.